So we're going to go ahead and go through each case study and then provide some insight after everyone presents. And we will see what you all came up with. I'm very curious to see versus the first hour what this ends up resulting in. So let's start with you gentlemen up front. Which was your case study? The conflicts of interest?
Yep.
Okay, why don't you come on up here, I'll introduce it, and you guys can talk about what you're going to do. In this case study, you have a manager that asks you to work on a project that conflicts with your core beliefs. There's nothing in the policies and procedures manual that addresses this kind of situation. This project will involve coming up with a marketing campaign, but does not tell the entire story of the product to customers. There are risks involved with your product that you feel should be disclosed to potential customers. The manager mentions that since your company is not in financial services nor healthcare, which are highly regulated, that you are a startup, so no disclosures about safety nor warnings need to be provided. You mention your concerns to your manager, and they say that this is a very important project and falls under your job duties. So failure to see it through to completion would not reflect favorably upon your performance review. What course of action should be taken with your manager? Should you pull in other people in the company, such as senior management or human resources, to discuss your concerns? And what is an ideal outcome that you can hope to achieve with a clear conscience?
Yeah, I'll take over. So, what course of action should be taken with your manager? I said that, we should obviously let our manager know. We said that we should let our manager know. And also let the clients know the situation. So, if our manager won't let us, get out of it, then at least the clients know that we're not turning our backs on them.
Okay, so we also said, this kind of goes with the second question too, is that if the manager's still not listening, we could call for a meeting with everyone in the company and take a vote over if we think it's appropriate and we should follow through with it. So that's kind of question 2. We said yes, just pull everyone in and take a vote for it.
Well, I did not. No, I don't think we would tell the clients right away.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to tell them something that we can fix. And so we, like Jay said, decided that we would try and fix the problem ourselves, and if not, and if could not get fixed, we're gonna quit. So that's what we're gonna do.
The ideal outcome though is just that the manager changes, not that we lose our job, and hopefully everybody stays happy, including the clients.
Is that it? Excellent. Good job, gentlemen. So with that case study, this is something that is oftentimes a real-world example that exists quite a bit. And with this example, it's tough because you have your values versus your livelihood at times put at odds. What are you going to choose? Because you may have a family with several kids and a wife, and you all are trying to do what you need to do to provide good quality of life for your family. You lose your job. You don't know when you'll get another job. I mean, there are times when you could lose your job based off your ideals and principles. But it's something that I like the fact how one of these guys said that they wouldn't compromise their values and that they would just move on to another job if no change happened. Because that's very courageous. It's easier said than done, but it's very courageous. It's something, calling a meeting and a vote might be a little tricky, but it may be something more where you maybe have more of a targeted meeting with certain people that are in charge with the community relations and with the marketing of the organization. Maybe you sit down with them and hash something out to where you can figure out what these issues are and the risks and how they should be properly conveyed to customers. So it is something that, to be an instrument of change, it is important to bring it up in your voice. And you guys came up with some good ways to go about doing that. So. Okay, next case study. Let's go over here to you folks. Which one did you have?
Samsung phones.
Samsung phones. Let me find this one. So Samsung, this actually truly happened, whereas the last one I created. Samsung phones, they had an issue with fires a few years ago. Battery was overheating. One example of explosion occurred in a car and someone was badly burned. There's a flaw in the manufacturing of the battery and nearly 2.5 million phones you service. We know that it's a heated competition with Apple and with everyone else in that market space. You want to minimize the public relations damage from this flaw in your product. What do you do to the existing customers in regards to their phones? How do you deal with the media and their inquiries? And what steps do you take to remedy the situation and reinstill customer and the public's confidence in your products? Take it away.
All right. So for the first question, we said we would apologize, give full refund, or they could trade in their phone for a new one, and then full recall. And then we would also pay for the damages of the phones that exploded and stuff.
And another thing that we might do is like maybe have one of those deals going on where it's kind of like if you get this Samsung, you can get another one like with a discount or free or something like that. Yeah. So big like coupons and stuff like that.
All right. And then how do you deal with the media and their inquiries? We would take full responsibilities, answer truthfully, and don't avoid questions. It's better just to be straightforward and stuff because nobody likes avoiding questions. Then for the steps to remedy the situation, first step would be recall. Second step would be apologize. Third step would be refund. Step 4, we would donate to charities with the money raised from this generation of phones that we sold to people, like to apologize for the explosions and stuff that happened.
Another thing we could do is like make sure that our next phone, maybe we like tease it or something like that, or tease some new thing that we're doing to maybe keep your mind off of like the bad stuff and on like some neat new phones.
Oh, do you mean like a cool new feature or a cool new
Yeah,
layout?
something like that.
Gotcha.
It's clear you took a lot of time and put a lot of effort in coming up with some creative ideas. And you talk about doing right by the customer, and what you guys came up with really embodies that. A lot of people don't try to do that. When something like this happens, a lot of times they skirt responsibility. They try to spin it in the media and go about that way versus hitting it directly head on. So it's good that you guys understood what it was and then address it thoroughly and make sure that the customer is at the center of the solution. So that is really, really job well done. So that's a job.
Contributions.
Okay, ladies in the back, the St. James Marketing Project.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question about the last one. So, like, they said that they would refund people whose phones are affected. What would happen if like, they didn't have the money to do that?
Okay, so he asked a question, what would happen if they didn't have the money to institute the refund of all the phones that were affected? Given Samsung's market share and other established company, they're going to have the money. If not, they can raise capital by selling some assets or doing a debt offering. There's a lot of ways for them to get that money together if they don't have it in their bank accounts to refund to the customers. But it's something, hopefully, they would already have that in cash in reserves. But if they didn't, there's other ways to come up with that money. Yes?
But I think it's fair to say that if they screw up like 50 more times, A, they're going to have like all their customers flee, and B, they are going to run out of money, and then C, who's going to want to lend them any money?
Exactly.
Some companies do go to zero.
And they could, if it's a one-time event, they can take care of it. But if it happens perpetually in the future, it's going to cause an issue to where it will go beyond their income sources to where they ultimately will end up in bankruptcy and be shutting their doors. Or unless they do, there's a bankruptcy, we can do a reorganizational company bankruptcy. But even then, it's no guarantee that you're going to get back on track and be able to take care of your future liabilities. But for a one-time thing, it can happen. So there's right now, Roundup, correct? Roundup is settled a several $100 million lawsuit about their product causing cancer, and so it looks like they're going to be able to take care of that, the pesticide product. But they have something like that happen again. They've already had enough damage to their PR. It could be something that leads to the end of the company in the future. Are you familiar with that case?
No, I wasn't thinking about that one in particular, but yeah, I'm just, from my organic point of view back here, putting like pesticide, which is designed to kill things, on plants, and then we eat those plants, I'm just adding a bit back here.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
You guys can ignore me.
Yeah, that's a little bit, not necessarily analogous comparison. But so these ladies are going to do a St. James marketing piece on the school. You guys can read this here. It's been open for 10 years. They're trying to do a 1-minute spot, deciding what people to go after, what to emphasize, what not to emphasize, prospective students to target, and what's the goal of their advertisement and talk. I'll let you ladies take it away.
Okay, so we would emphasize like the community aspect of St. James and like how like the technology technology, like how we all have computers and how that's a big, like, no textbooks and how, like, God is first and the academics. Yeah, we really want to point out, like, what makes St. James different than any other high school or any other Catholic high school. And, like she said, our community system is something that really, like, makes us stand out. So we probably put a lot of emphasis on that in order to make it sound like something new and something exciting.
We said we would try to reach everyone in the area just so we could like get the word out to more people about our school.
What is your goal of your advertisement / talk? Our goal is to get people to come to St. James. That's what it is.
Thank you, ladies. So with this one, it is difficult to come up with how you go about this because there's a lot of things that speak to different people about high schools, colleges, and beyond. And you really have to know what your target audience is and who you're going after because you want to make the most of, oftentimes, their limited resources. So on this, in a 1-minute spot, you have to do something that's really captivating, captures your attention. Think of like the Super Bowl ads. You guys remember those when you watch the Super Bowl, right? They're really neat. Tons of hours goes into coming up with those ads because they want you to remember it. Let me give you a case in point. There's a McDonald's one years ago. I don't know if you remember this. You may be too young. Where a kid was smiling one moment and crying and frowning another moment, alternating, probably 5 different times. And he was in one of those little swings like this. And then they showed the other commercial him smiling one last time, and then they showed the McDonald's arches. I remember that from many years ago. So McDonald's succeeded at least in getting me to remember that commercial. The E-Trade baby, things like that. You have to have something that really, a message that resonates with people and that really gets them to buy into your value proposition. What does St. James have to offer the community? Why should parents send their kids here? Why would students want to come here? What are the selling points in that sense? So you did a good job talking about the various elements there, positives of the school, but a lot goes into these campaigns, and especially when you're doing some sort of community outreach and trying to have a message that really strikes a chord with your target audience. So, yes. Okay. Moving on, we will go to. Let's go back here. What did you guys have? Did you have the ultimate nonprofit?
Yes.
Okay. So they come up with a nonprofit that funds kids' dreams that come from at-risk families. This has been something there's been a lot of nonprofits targeting kids in this area, so it's a really hot topic. This particular part of the population want to focus on kids who have either encountered trouble at school, law, or both. You're hoping to give them a second chance to break the cycle. So a lot of these kids already have the deck stacked against them growing up. So it's something that really is a point of emphasis by nonprofits. You have to come up with the main talking points in order to write a grant to receive funding. What does this grant request take the shape of? I.e., what are your talking points to be able to get the money and make a compelling argument?
So we're going to start by talking about the problem with kids in these at-risk families. With a lot of them are getting involved with like gangs and stuff, and so the goal is to try to get them out of it.
We started a non-profit organization we call Hoops for Hope.
Okay, so the idea behind the organization is that most of the time when kids do these things, it's because they have a lot of time on their hands. Their parents are trying to get them enough money to obviously live and have a comfortable life, which most of them do not. So by making an organization, Hoops for Hope would be once a month for about a week or two. They'd be competing in a basketball competition. Each of them would get a portion of the money, and the winner would obviously get the most. But by that, it would give them an organized schedule that would keep them off the streets, and having a schedule would, in turn, keep them be able to follow them to the rest of their life.
And to like raise funds, we could just go to businesses and then like ask for sponsorships and maybe have like different sponsorship levels. Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get a couple NBA players or even former NBA players to help us out in order to like really draw attention to it, draw the kids to that because their favorite basketball players are going to be working with them to play basketball with them.
You guys, very creative idea in dressing hoops, which is something that a lot of kids love to do of all ages. And like a fact, you talk about partnering with people in the community because you pull in people that are notable figures it's able to draw a lot of other people in through that effort. And talking about giving them that chance, having an organized structure of the tournament, and giving them something to do with their time. Because that's oftentimes a lot of the issues is too much time on their hands. Sometimes both parents working, not around, not a ton of good role models around, and so they need some sort of structure to help them out and to really get them on a good course. So, excellent job. It's something you guys may have heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters. They do something. They're an example of someone that does work with at-risk youth. So they'll partner a kid from a tough part of town or a tough situation with another adult in the community, and they'll go around and do things and help them and really forming them. It's really a neat program. I've had many friends do that, the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So, to Amazon or not to Amazon? Who is that? That was somebody back there, wasn't it?
This group at Google.
Okay, let's pull up the Google people. Maybe the Amazon one got skipped because we went in bigger groups.
We didn't have enough people.
Yeah, I think that was the case. So. The Google one, this is arguably the hardest one in my mind. So Google was targeted by the EU Antitrust Commission and had a $5 billion fine given down in 2018. This was due to the findings of an investigation of their practices. So, i.e. specifically the company had secured approximately 9% of market share for internet searches in European Economic Area countries, which they didn't deem that to be a fair competitive environment. You are the top Google executives in charge of Chrome operating system, Play, and Android. The responsibilities of managing a global company that stretches almost everywhere in the world, its increasing success and responsibility to the fine is falling on your shoulders. What do you do to address all the results of the EU and guide the organization going forward?
So we're going to issue a formal apology and be very transparent about the whole situation, and we're going to stop the practices from happening in the European economic areas.
We're also gonna have Google investigate, have people investigate us every 3 to 4 months to make sure we are stopping the practices, and they'll have to sanction something else if we don't. That'll be on us. If we do the right thing, like we say we are, then these investigations should be easy.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I found this confusing, but you looked up a few things. Could you elaborate on just, because, okay, they have 90% of the market. Sometimes that happens. What specifically did they do wrong that was so bad, that sort of made it seem like they were cheating to get that 90%?
Well, because they control such a large portion of the market share to begin with anyways, they were telling websites that they weren't allowed, they were forcing websites to not advertise for any other search engines, which was pushing the other search engines out of the market share even more.
Okay, so if I have a company and I work with Google and I say I also want to work with Yahoo or Bing or one of the other ones, then Google would basically force me out of that.
Yes.
Okay, even though I'm paying Google and I'm hiring them, they would crush me if I tried to go someplace else. Got it. Okay.
And I did that on purpose. I didn't fill in all the blanks in this to really allow you to use your critical reasoning and thinking abilities. I could have filled in all those gaps, so I wanted to see where this would lead you when you came up with your solutions. So you guys did an excellent job in that sense when it was a bit big. So great work. There's an Amazon one on here where it talks about electronic cell phone product and what distribution channels should be utilized. Should you utilize a direct-to-consumer or Amazon? What are the long-term implications for each strategy to brand? Who here knows what the challenge is when you put something on Amazon? What is a challenge? A possible issue you run into?
It gets lost in just the shuffle.
You get lost in the shuffle. What else do you run into?
Sometimes someone else is selling the same product for cheaper.
Yep, price wars. What's the problem with brick and mortar? So like a physical store. What's the challenge there?
You mean if you are brick and mortar?
If you are brick and mortar, you go that route.
You have to ship all over the world.
You have to ship all over the world. You're paying a lot of capital invested in a physical location and overhead costs.
And you're also paying for shipping to Amazon, paying for shipping here, there.
You are paying for a lot there. So something like this, I would think a hybrid strategy would work between a That's maybe a small brick and mortar and a direct to consumer, get the best of both worlds and figure out the proper balance and maybe analyze your sales over the course of maybe 3, 6 months, a year and see where they're pretty much being derived from and invest accordingly in the future into whichever channel I think is driving more of your revenues is a good way to go on this. That's just a quick version to touch on this one. You guys all did an excellent job in the case studies. Want to give a chance to open up for some more questions, and I'm going to give some more great marketing examples and some trivia and some other bits of wisdom as well. Any other questions that have arisen? Case study beyond anything else that you guys want to ask right now? Yes?
Would some of these be like some like more day-to-day things that like companies would work with, like smaller companies would work with, like the non-for-profit and obviously not like the Amazon, Google, Samsung stuff, but the like non-for-profit and the St. James one and all that.
You mean like that they have to deal with on a continuous basis versus a one-off thing, like the Google thing is more of a one-off thing? Yeah, you can look at it through that lens, if that's the case. I mean, so you can make the argument, though, for all of these that it's a day-to-day basis, even once you have dealt with these issues, because you're trying not to repeat history like with Google's conundrum and the Samsung case. Most recently, you guys have heard about Boeing in the news with their aircraft in Ethiopia that blew up, that had the malfunction because I guess the software hadn't been updated properly, although they're still waiting on the investigation to be complete on that. They've grounded, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, all those planes. It's been a huge PR nightmare for Boeing going forward because they provide so many planes and so many carriers. There are two main players in the marketplace. Who knows the other one besides Mr. Whitaker? The other main?
Airbus.
Yes, Airbus. So Airbus is probably thinking right now, this is great. So if Airbus is smart right now, they will come out and they'll really go on the offensive and try and take some of Boeing's market share, given what's happened recently. And there's, to me, that some people may say that's ethically not right, but they can go out and they can say their strengths and do it above board and be positive with it and just be very opportune with their timing here. So, yes?
Is it just kind of fair to say that all of us, period, like every human, is 24/7 engaged in some kind of marketing? You know, for example, like if you work for St. James, you really want to treat everybody as good as you possibly can because, you know, just one bad encounter, like let's say I'm rude to a freshman, well, then maybe that kid goes home and tells mom and dad. Then mom and dad say, you're the oldest of 11. Maybe we should send all of our kids to the other school instead. So I mean, just no matter what you do, if you work at Chipotle, this is why they say they smile, and every now and then they give you something for free.
Yep. You're an ambassador regardless of your personal time or not, no matter what organization, institution you're working for. Let me give you a case in point. I was on a business trip in the last several years. And I was staying in a really, really nice hotel. And I was doing some work, and another group was doing work on the same project. I had somebody on the phone up way after quiet hours, being loud and obnoxious. And I'm like, how do I handle this? And I'm thinking this reflects poorly on all of us because they're tied to the same project. So I was trying to think of how do I come up with something here to deal with it, not be too confrontational. So I went down to the desk, and they called up there, they took care of it, but that same person the next night was up till like almost 11 on the phone again, and I'm trying to get a good night's sleep. But at the same time, I'm not that person's manager, I'm not their boss. I was trying to look out for the reputation of our organization because that reflected poorly on it. If somebody found out what company we were tied to, they could think, well, look at those people. They can't even exercise respect and dignity and common sense in a hotel. How can they conduct business in the business world if this is what they're like personally? It's amazing the conclusions people will come to based off of your own personal behavior in your own time beyond what happens in the school. I'm not saying the company for a reason because the company doesn't matter. It's more the lesson itself. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Are case studies like something you regularly research?
I don't. I just put these together. But there are even case study courses. So there was an advanced financial management class I took in college, taught by a guy that looked like the guy who played Superman in the movies. It's unbelievable. It was Christopher Reeve. And I remember we did all sorts of case studies. And it was one of the best classes in terms of thought-provoking conversation, everything I've done. I think I still have the book at home, but I will read these from time to time, but it's not something I regularly seek out. It is something that you each could do and seek out easily with the resources on the web.
So how often do you actually come across anything like this?
Like what? Like which one?
Like well, really any of these like case studies. Like how often would you come across these like in the real world?
In your own working environment, or just period?
Just like in the working environment, I guess.
I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that occur on a daily basis in each company. These are some really complex ones and ones that gain a lot of attention. But there's ones that are simple down to resolving a conflict between two employees, maybe on a marketing plan that don't see eye to eye, and which one do we go with? And if we don't go with this person's, how do we incorporate elements into the marketing plan? Or if we don't go with that person's, I mean, there's all sorts of things. It's just on a very regular basis, and it's a matter of coming up with a compromise, doing what's right for the customer, and trying to have the buy-in not only internally of everybody, but externally as well, the stakeholders and your target demographics as well. You want to make sure you're keeping in mind everybody when you're going about business, and like we say, doing it, as I brushed up against the board, doing whatever it takes to do something right. And these are some examples of where you're put to the test with your values and the mission of the company. Are you going to stay true to it, or are you going to deviate for the sake of a profit or some other motive? So, any other questions? We will have time. You can write down questions that you may not want to ask in class as well. And Mr. Webker will collect them within the class. I'm going to do a few trivia questions here. We've got some treats up here. Healthy and unhealthy. Swedish fish, Sour Patch Kids, salted almonds, my favorite. Cheddar popcorn from a place called Bora Littles, which is amazing. 75th and Mission. And apple rings. So you can come up and get a treat if you get this right. Make sure to raise your hand when I ask the question. So, first question. There's a marketing campaign for Pepsi. And they got sued in the 90s. They said they had this points program, rewards program, where if you got 7 million points, you got to get a certain object, and the person got it, and they wouldn't give him this object. It was a very expensive item, and they settled out of court, I believe. What was the object? Was it the Kansas City Chiefs, Statue of Liberty's torch, Brooklyn Bridge, or a Harrier jet? Harrier jet, excellent. So they advertised that in the commercial. They showed a jet. Harrier takes off like this, straight up, and they ended up not being able to deliver on that. Harrier jet's very expensive. Just goes to show you got to be careful on what you advertise.
Saints and brothers.
The Nike swoosh logo cost how much to design? $5,167, $716. We don't know if they couldn't track the cost back then, or $35.
Who said 35?
Yes, $35. That's it. This is more of a history subject.
Kids.
In honor of Mr. Webber, who teaches history. What was the prestigious academic institution that Hitler was denied admission into in college? What type of institution was it in Europe? Art Institute, the Vienna Art Institute. Hitler drew a lot of landscapes. He did not draw people, so he was not considered to be a talented artist. According to a survey of various professionals, what's the most stressful job in the U.S.? Pilot, surgeon, Mr. Webber, Mr. Consiglia's job, or air traffic controller? Surgeon. Nope. I'm going to pick on someone new. Air traffic controller. Why do you think that is the most stressful job, Arthur? Yeah, think of all the thousands of planes. It's unbelievable. We actually have an air traffic control place here in Olathe here. They make really good money, but it is deemed per survey as the most stressful job.
Isn't that a Honeywell?
No, that's not Honeywell. Honeywell does other defense work. Was it in a technology company where one of its founders sold his share of the company for a mere $800 around 1980? And it's worth a ton today.
I'm going to say IBM.
Nope. Nope.
Apple.
Yep, Apple. I think Mr. Webker quoted it, what, 200 some odd $1 million is what it'd be worth today?
Yeah, Mark Cuban had some billboard that he had. He said, if any of you are having a bad day, Steve Wozniak sold his $800 worth of shares of Apple in 1978. It is currently worth $250 billion. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Well, because there's like two guys who founded Apple, and he was one of them, and he sold like his half, and so I mean, it's basically half the company.
Yeah, isn't that unbelievable? What famous computer company that's a 4-letter word started in Austin, Texas? Oh, Porter, raise your hand. I'm surprised by that. It was Dell, Michael Dell. Started as a college dropout.
Just give it to the first guy who raises his hand.
Yeah, he should have to give the candy to the class, spring candy tomorrow. What specific field is K-State one of the top-rated schools in the country for?
Agriculture.
Now I'm looking for. I'm trying to find somebody new. You in the back.
Architecture.
No. But that's not right.
Oh, I was gonna say like interior design.
Nope. Give you a chance of redemption.
Alright. Well, no, I don't like it. Engineering.
They are known for that, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Business.
Nope. They are good in business. That's what I'm looking for.
A certain type.
I have one more.
I gotta see if I can get somebody else first. Anybody else? Chemistry. Think of a kind of medicine, specialized medicine. Specialized is a key word.
Plastic surgery.
Yes. Veterinary. Yes. One of the top veterinary schools in the country. On the flip side, to be equitable here, Missouri and Kansas are known universities for the same undergraduate degree. Very, very highly rated. What is it? Journalism. Yes. Glad somebody finally got that right. Last class struggled with that. What famous musician was a New York City police officer beforehand? This is hard. Michael Jackson, Lil Wayne, Adam Levine, or Eddie Money? No. Let's go over here. Let's go. Who? Have I called on you yet?
No. Eddie Money.
Eddie Money. He's an 80s artist. Did you know that? Did you really know that? Well, I got it. Spread it out.
Michael Jackson spent more time getting arrested.
Yeah. Who was credited with writing the first resume in history? First resume. Was it Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Albert Einstein, or Leonardo da Vinci? Same people keep raising their hands. Give you another shot at redemption. Nope. Yes. Da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci. First resume. Which groups of items have been used? Oh, do you not want a treat? You want to give it to another classmate to be giving? Which group of items have been used as currency over the years? Yen, lire, franc, monopoly money, M&Ms, Coca-Cola, rubles, Deutschmarks, beans, wheat, corn, fun dip, salt, peppercorns, cows, stones, clamshells. Which group did I just name?
First one?
Nope.
Wait, which have all been used?
Yes.
Oh, the second one.
Nope.
The third one.
The fourth one. We've all used salt, peppercorns, cows, stones, clamshells.
Yes.
We didn't have fun dip back in. Fun dip's never been used as a currency.
Well, what if I'm trading my fun dip for your
I thought that it was
guacamole?
just like pick one of all of them and like multiple answers are correct.
Okay, what is the high school that Dr. Phil went to in Johnson County?
Charmission South.
Nope.
Charmission North.
Charmission North.
Oh, that's Paul Rudd.
Nope, that's Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle went to Charmission South. Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis went to Charmission West. Okay. Let's see here. Jim Hosty, who here went to Ascension? You have an unfair advantage on this one. Who here went to Ascension? Nobody? Jim Hosty was one of the lead FBI agents. His daughter, his youngest daughter, is a teacher at Ascension Catholic School. And he was one of the lead FBI agents, one of the most famous events in the history of our country. Most famous presidential events in the last 100 years. What was that event? I'm going to try to find someone new. It's all the same hands. Let's go with her in the back.
Watergate?
Not Watergate. Let's go with you.
Bill Clinton.
Nope. This is way more famous than Bill Clinton. Way more famous. You right here in the yellow. JFK assassination. So he, little known fact, Jim Hosty raised his family in Mission, Kansas. So over by Bishop Miege. My dad grew up around the corner and was friends with his kids. So it's unbelievable that he came to know him. And he authored a book about the Kennedy assassination with one of his oldest sons, who's actually the director of enforcement and compliance for the NCAA in Indianapolis. So it's pretty cool. I've talked to him on the phone before. He's a really neat guy. It's called Assignment Oswald, if you're looking for reading material. It's an interesting read on the Kennedy assassination. Okay, let's see if there's any more left that I have. Who is arguably the greatest professional basketball player of all time that was cut from his basketball team in high school?
That's obvious. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Cut as a sophomore. It doesn't mean his coach was foolish. It made him who he is today. He had something to prove.
There's no Swedish fish left. Imagine saying that. Yeah, I cut Michael Jordan.
I know. Who wants to take a guess at what profession I wanted to go into growing up in childhood?
And the reason was lack of potential.
Police officer.
Nope, definitely not that.
Astronaut.
Nope.
Wait,
Remember,
is this realistic or like
I made
NFL
bad
player
choices as a
/rapper?
kid, so I wasn't thinking about being a police officer. I respect him, but that's not what I had.
You wanted to be a rock star.
Nope.
You wanted to run your dad's business.
I'm full of young to be thinking about that, but okay. John Saunders is a famous one of these.
Golfer.
John Madden.
Football player.
Jim Nance.
Sports
broadcaster. So I went to a KUK State game at Midcourt on Big Monday one time. I got to talk. John Saunders used to be a famous commentator. I think he still does some. But I got to talk to him in Midcourt. But that's such a cutthroat thing. Just like athletes as well. Those of you that are athletes that think you're going to go on and be a big-time college athlete, let alone pro athlete, look at it like this. Our arm, for all the kids that play growing up, elbow to wrist are kids in high school, hand, college, and then even less than the fingernail, maybe like your fingertip, are the number of kids that go on to play pro. So I always encourage those of you that are high-level athletes to have a backup plan, because if it doesn't, I told my cousin this too, who is an All-American wrestler. It's important to have that stuff in place. Always be able to adapt, and be ready for everything. You can write down questions you want. We've got 2 minutes left. We'll get them into Mr. Webker. Thanks for your time today. We're going to put some documents, bits of wisdom about life, and you can write these down as well. Remember, etch your successes into stone, failures in the sand, positive inputs equal positive outputs, and make sure to treat all others with dignity, love, and respect, regardless of their beliefs.
All right, hey guys, here's what he means by question. You know how we do like an index card question from time to time on money or time or faith or grades? Yeah. Write one of those on a half sheet of paper with your name on it, a question which would be useful to you. He will answer them all. He'll put the answers online, and I'll make sure you guys see it. Write a quick question, hand it to me, or hand it to Mr. Kain.